Okay, what if I told you that the most convincing liar you're ever going to meet isn't some sketchy scammer online or a politician? It's actually your own brain. Yeah, seriously. Right now, as we're going through this explainer together, your mind is quietly working behind the scenes. It's filtering reality, filling in the blanks, and, this is wild, literally rewriting your memories without your permission. And the craziest part? It's doing this every single day.
Naturally, you trust your mind to tell you what's real, right? I mean, we all do. But neuroscience and psychology have uncovered this deeply surprising truth. Your brain simply isn't designed to show you reality exactly as it is. So what if your brain actually lies to you? We're not talking about a glitch or a malfunction here. We are talking about its default state. Most of the time, the world you think you're experiencing is actually a heavily edited version of reality.
See, the absolute crucial point to understand here is that for your brain, accuracy isn't the goal. Survival is. Your brain deceives you strictly to help you survive modern life, but it's doing so using some seriously ancient prehistoric software. Today, we're going to uncover the strange ways your brain actively tricks you, why it does it, and what it actually means for how you navigate your everyday life.
All right, let's dive into Section 1, Editing Reality and Reconstructing Memories.
Just take a quick look around you right now. It feels like you're seeing the world perfectly and completely, doesn't it? Well, you're not. Your eyes are actually collecting an enormous 10 million bits of visual data every single second. Trying to process all of that perfectly would literally fry your neural circuitry. So your brain steps in as this highly selective editor. It decides what's important for you to notice and completely tosses the rest. Because of this, we usually kind of assume our memory works like a camera recording, that you can just hit play and watch the pristine, unedited footage of your past. But reality is vastly different. Memory is not a locked video file. It's an editable document.
Let's actually walk through how this editing process happens. Think about a childhood memory right now. Maybe an old birthday party or a family vacation. Step 1, you recall that memory. Step 2, your brain doesn't just load it up from a hard drive. It actively reconstructs it on the fly from tiny fragments. And step 3, the details actually change over time. Imagine opening a text document and tweaking it slightly every single time you read it. New information gets added in, old details vanish. Your assumptions, your current emotions, and sheer imagination just blend with real events to rebuild the past. Honestly, by the time you think back on that birthday party today, your brain might confidently present you with a memory of something that, well, never even happened.
Moving right along to Section 2, Predictions and the Spotlight Effect.
So, we know your brain is a highly creative editor, but it's also constantly trying to predict what's about to happen. I mean, before you even finish reading a sentence, your brain is guessing the next word. Before you catch a ball, it calculates exactly where it's going to land. It does this to help you react quickly. But this predictive software creates some very strange social illusions. Tell me, have you ever tripped in public or said something super awkward at a party and then spent hours agonizing over it? If so, you've fallen victim to what psychologists call the spotlight effect. This is the false conviction that people are paying way more attention to you than they actually are. Your brain becomes entirely obsessed with your minor mistake, sounding these massive alarm bells as if you're standing under a bright, glaring spotlight on a dark stage.
Here's the thing. Because you are the center of your own experience, your thoughts and actions completely dominate your attention. Makes sense, right? So your brain logically, but totally incorrectly, predicts that they're also dominating everyone else's attention. The reality? Others are far too busy thinking about themselves. That embarrassing thing you did yesterday? Chances are nobody remembers it except you, yet your brain just keeps replaying it as if it were front-page news. Okay, on to Section 3, Confirmation and Negativity Biases.
We really like to think of ourselves as incredibly objective, rational creatures. But your brain actually has a massive preference for comfort and consistency over objective truth, especially when it's faced with new or challenging information. Imagine you strongly believe something, and then you read a piece of information that proves you are dead wrong. What happens? Well, most people don't suddenly go, "Oh, I guess I'll change my mind." Instead, they experience confirmation bias. This is the act of searching for evidence that supports your existing beliefs while completely ignoring evidence that challenges them. And the crucial point here is that this is not about intelligence. It's about mental effort. Changing your beliefs requires hard, exhausting neurological work. Holding on to old beliefs? That feels easy and comfortable. The brain isn't seeking truth here, folks. It's seeking comfort.
And then, of course, there's the negativity bias. Have you ever noticed how one single piece of criticism can entirely ruin your day, while 10 glowing compliments barely even register? Well, thousands of years ago, your survival depended on noticing danger. Missing a threat in the wild? Fatal. Missing an opportunity? Not a big deal. So your brain evolved to heavily prioritize negative information. Today, obviously, criticism isn't fatal, but your brain still treats emotional threats like, say, a passive-aggressive email from your boss as if you're fighting for your life in a dangerous prehistoric environment.
Which brings us to Section 4, the illusion of control. As humans, we inherently love feeling like we're in charge, but our brains are deeply, deeply uncomfortable with uncertainty. They absolutely hate the unknown. So, to soothe that discomfort, we fake control. We start believing we can predict random events. We think wearing a specific pair of lucky socks or following certain game day routines will somehow help our sports team win. We even feel responsible for outcomes that are driven entirely by random chance. Psychologists call this the illusion of control. Your brain would much rather embrace these comfortable, superstitious illusions than admit the scary truth, which is that reality is highly unpredictable and we actually have very little control over it.
And finally, Section 5, the biggest lie of all.
We've seen how the brain edits memories, magnifies social blunders, and fakes control. But out of all the deceptions your mind pulls on a daily basis, there's one automatic, deeply dangerous assumption that almost all of us fall for. It's the assumption that every single thought your brain produces is true. A thought pops into your mind, and instantly you just believe it, whether it's, "I'm not good enough," "everyone is judging me," or "I'm probably going to fail." The reality is, your brain generates thousands of thoughts every single day. Sure, some of them are highly useful, but a lot of them are just pure, unadulterated nonsense.
But here's an incredibly empowering realization for you. Thoughts are mental events, not facts. Let me say that again. They are mental events, not facts. They can be accurate or they can be completely factually wrong. Yet so many people spend years agonizing because they implicitly trust every dark or anxious thought their ancient survival software spits out. Learning to pause and actively question your own thoughts is, without a doubt, perhaps the most powerful psychological skill you can ever develop.
So, let's quickly summarize the incredible evolutionary mechanisms we've explored today. Your brain filters your reality to keep you from being completely overwhelmed. It actively rewrites your memories. It predicts the future so you can react faster, and it magnifies your fears to keep you safe from perceived threats. The absolutely crucial point to take away from this explainer is that your mind isn't broken. It's simply doing exactly what evolution designed it to do: prioritize your survival over objective accuracy. Which leaves us with this final, incredibly important question. Will you believe your next thought? You know, the more you understand these hidden mental tricks, the less control they have over your life. You do not have to be a passive victim to your brain's ancient survival software. You can step back, recognize the editing process, and take back control. So the next time your brain tells you a story, remember, it might be powerful, but it isn't always telling you the truth. Stay curious, keep questioning, and we'll see you in the next explainer.